Hi, and thank you for joining another episode of askRCOR. This week, I chose three of the questions that our customers have asked us, and they're fairly common questions, so I thought it might be nice to cover them. The first one is, how do I choose a printer for my business? Well, really, there are three things that we need to discuss. The first one is, do you want black and white or color? Most people say they want color, however, they don't realize that they're going to pay extra for it. In an inkjet printer, they're going to be paying up to 15-20 cents a page, and that's for a 5% coverage rate, which is kind of just text on the page. For a laser printer, your cost goes down with the toner, but the price goes up for the printer, which really brings me to the two other things. Do I get a laser jet or do I get an inkjet printer? Now, let me talk to you about the technologies. An inkjet printer actually will squirt the ink on the page so that it lands in the form of the letter or picture that you're looking at. And gosh, they use what are called picoliters, which are tiny bits sprayed on the paper. So you end up with, a couple hundred pages with a small cartridge. Now, a laser printer will actually run a laser across the paper, drop toner that's kind of sticks to where the laser was, or kind of embeds itself, and then it runs it past a hot unit called a fuser so that it melts it on the paper. So, if you're going to be going and sending the things out in the mail, you're definitely going to want a laser printer, because any water that gets on it, because it's been fused to the paper, will not have a problem where an inkjet will. But once the ink dries from the inkjet, it's not as wet, it will definitely stay for a little bit longer. Now, normally in a business setting, because so many pages come out so quickly and you need it instantly to hand it to a patient, hand it to a client, anything you do something like that, or you have a whole bunch of pieces sitting on top of each other, you can't wait for it to dry. So I tend to go toward laser. And if you need a color laser, then I either split it up and go with the inkjet with the color and a laser with the black and white, or you invest in a little bit more, which is the color laser. Now, I've gone through a lot of different things, but realize two things. One, with an inkjet, you are going to get a very inexpensive computer, because your cost per page is going to be, for black and white, anywhere between 8 and 10 cents per side of per page, with a 5% cover rate, and your laser jet is going to be between 2 and 4 cents a page normally. So what's going to happen is the cost of the laser is much higher as an initial investment, and each toner cartridge prints out thousands instead of hundreds of pages. So your investment over time is going to save you money, whereas an inkjet printer, you're going to get it real quick, real cheap, but over time, you're going to pay for it. So I hope that helps. But for a business setting, I really do look at black and white lasers. And I know the next question that comes out of your mouth is, what brand? I really like HP. They've been making lasers since I've been knee-high to a grasshopper. And Brother makes a good printer also. There are other brands like Canon, and Samsung's come out with some. However, I still tend to stay with the HP printers. Now, I do have a gigantic color laser printer that I do my marketing on, which costs me a tremendous amount up front, but the cost per page is way down. It's a Ricoh. So there are other brands out there as well. At the end of this video, I always give the number, so you can always call us for advice. Next question is, what can I do about a slow computer? Oh, if I had a nickel every time I was asked this question, I literally would not be doing these videos. I would be on a beach in the Bahamas full time. So let me go through it real quick with you. First of all, take a look at the age of your computer. Computers are not, in our day and age, in a business setting now, because I'm not doing this for consumer. I'm really looking at business setting, but consumer's not too far apart from it. You're going to get anywhere from 3 to 5 years out of a computer. However, if the computer is within that age frame and it is, you're definitely running a lot slower than you feel that you should or can, first thing to do, take a look at antivirus or anti-malware software. If you don't have it on there, I had a person say today that they were changing antiviruses, and during the mid-time they thought their computer was naked, and it truly is. I mean, anything can see and get in there. So definitely get some on there if you don't have it. If you do have it, run what you have and download a second type. We use WebRoot as our antivirus, and we use the commercial version of it, and we use Malwarebytes for our anti-malware. Malwarebytes has a free version. I suggest you download it, you run it, remove whatever it says. It has a quarantine area, so if you can always undo. So that's what I'd recommend there. However, if you run that and it still is an issue, the first thing you have to look at is if your computer's a little older, you might have a regular normal hard drive as opposed to a solid state. We've had a technology change, and the old hard drives spin really, really fast, and they have needles that go across them to gather the data. The newest type of hard drive actually has computer chips on it, and what it does is you instantly have access to the data because there's no spinning, there's no finding the sector, it just has the data there. It can increase the speed of your computer many times over. The difference is the cost per gigabyte, which is the size of space. It can be a little bit prohibitive, where you maybe want to clean off some of your drive, or possibly go and put some of it on a second drive that's a slower drive, and put your operating system, which is what runs your computer, on a solid state. To upgrade a solid state, not including tech time, is going to run probably about $100. If you have a lot of data where you need a larger one, it could run several $100s. However, the last thing that you have to look at is memory. In today's day and age with a computer, minimum is going to be 4. You can get 8, recommended anywhere between 8 and 16. So those are just some of the things you can look at. Again, you can call us, and we'll gladly evaluate it for you and help you to either take what you have and make it faster, or recommend something new. Which brings us to the last question that I'm going to answer today: is what brand of a laptop should I buy? This again is a very common question. I'm not going to really go into many brands here. I'm going to give you a couple at the end of this, but you should, the more common thing, because it's a loaded question, the more common thing is you want to get a couple of things. Figure out a screen size, 11, 12, 13, 15 inch. Usually people are going to go with about a 12 inch or a 13 to 15 inch. Those are the real distinctive ones. Now, with each size of those will be the keyboard. With the smaller one, it will be a compressed keyboard. It tends to be like an 88% what a normal keyboard would be, whereas with the 13 or 15 inch, it's either a regular size or very close to a regular size. But in addition to that, it is the feel of the keyboard. So definitely try before you buy, if at all possible. Of course, you're going to want to look at memory and speed and things like that. However, before you look at those things, look at weight, screen size, and above all, are you going to be able to type on this? Is the mouse where you want it to be, and so forth. A lot of people have larger mouse pads, a lot of track pads. Some have smaller, some have a little thing in the middle that you can use the mouse in addition to the trackpad. So there are different options there. Talk to your managed service provider, again, with all of this. And with laptops, I'm just going to run by this real quick. I like Lenovo, I like Dell, I like HP, I like ASUS. Those I like. Not that I don't like the other brands. I've just had the best success, and I did list them in a pretty good order there. So anyway, if you have any questions, of course, you can always call our office. 919-313-9355. You can email me directly, tim@arcor.com. But more importantly, if you have questions that you'd like us to answer on these weekly Ask AskRCOR, then send an email to ask@arcor.com. We do look back at our last episode, so at the very bottom here is some comment area. Definitely put some comments in, and we'll try to answer your question the next time around. I've talked really fast because I wanted to get a lot of information in here very quickly, so I hope that you've enjoyed this, and happy and safe computing.